Today on The Critical Gentleman, we're going to count down the 5 best vintage watches you can buy for under $500 US. It's Top 5 Friday, also known as Top 5 Day here at The Critical Gentleman, and we're going to kick off this new series by choosing the 5 best vintage mechanical watches you can buy for under $500. There's no shortage of top 5 and top 10 lists out there, but I wanted to do it a little bit different. Vintage is more my wheelhouse than modern anyway, so we're going to kick it off right and talk about a few watches that I think are really great vintage value on the market right now. Keeping in mind that the vintage market is always fluctuating, these are pieces which I've commonly seen either at auction or in private sales that trade under $500. Now, of course, that's going to be more at a dealer, but if you shop smart and you buy from a reputable source, you can have these pieces for a very reasonable price. The first watch on our list today is the Rado Starliner. This is a really cool, really funky watch with a distinctive look, and this watch is from about the early to mid 70s. There's a few different references. This one is my favorite. And what you get for your money is a very large watch for the era. I think it's around 39 millimeters with an ETA automatic movement. Some of these have a day-date complication, and what I believe is a very distinctive but attractive look. And overall, for under $500, it has all of the ingredients needed for a high-quality and attractive Swiss-made timepiece. It even has a really cool case back. Next up is another watch that I happen to think is underappreciated, which is the Bulova Ambassador. This watch actually uses a micro-rotor movement, which is a particularly hard thing to find and something that I think is pretty cool. There are only 3 watches that come to mind which use this movement, of course not counting the Patek micro-rotor movement, and that's the Bulova Ambassador, the Hamilton Thin-O-Matic, and the Universal Geneve Pole Router. Now, the pole router is not under $500, so it didn't make this video. And between the Hamilton Thin-O-Matic and the Bulova Ambassador, I happen to like the aesthetic of the Bulova a little bit better. So between what I think is a pretty cool movement and a generally attractive dress watch style, I think that this watch represents an excellent value. They also come in a few references, including a round case, a square case, and center seconds or no second hand at all. Number 3 on our list is actually one of my favorites, and that's the Longines Flagship. I mentioned in a previous video that there was a time Longines was a direct competitor with Rolex, and the fact that you can get one of their in-house movements from the 60s for under $500 practically blows my mind. Now, I mentioned the Flagship because it's my personal favorite of their available vintage line. However, you've also got the Conquest and the Admiral, all for under $500 on various websites. I would encourage you to make sure that you get one in steel rather than gold fill. I personally try to avoid any kind of plating, but these are some of the most attractive, most robust, and most unique pieces, and you can get them for what I truly think is a bargain. Number 2, and probably my personal favorite on the list, is the Omega Seamaster line. Now, there are many different lines available from Omega that you can find for well under the $500 mark, most of them manufactured in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But none are more ubiquitous than the Seamaster. You can find them everywhere. They come in steel, gold fill, and solid gold, all of which are equipped with the Omega 550 series movement. This is their in-house automatic movement. The sheer variety of references that are out there in terms of case style, dial color, hand style, and everything in between means that there's something for everyone in the vintage Omega line. Rounding out our list at number 1 is a bit of a stretch piece. However, if you keep your eye on some very popular auction sites, it is possible to pick one of these up for under $500, and that is the Tudor Prince Small Rose. Now, Small Rose is just a nickname for this particular watch, which is the Tudor Prince, sometimes the Tudor Prince date, with the small rose logo by the 12 o'clock marker. The spread on these is really huge. I've seen them for sale on private forums for anywhere between $700 and $900, but the fact is, these are trading under $500 on several very popular websites. And I think if you manage to find one for under $500, you are really picking up a solid timepiece, an attractive timepiece, and one that's actually going to hold its value relatively well, which I personally think is a difficult thing to find in a watch under $500. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. There were a few honorable mentions that I didn't include, but I wanted to keep it down to 5. There's plenty more out there, including pieces by Tissot, such as the Visidate, Waltham, Wittenauer, and other subsidiary brands that offer similar value per dollar in what is currently a rising vintage market. I'm hoping to make this a weekly video series, so look for the next Top 5 Day, and don't forget to hit that like or subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching The Critical Gentleman.